So now we are going to start building a new Ruby on Rails 6 application, and we are going to go through all the problems of setting up a Rails 6 application and actually make it into a boilerplate application that has all the needed features to develop anything we want. So first of all, we are going to run the command Rails new. Then we have the name of our repository. I'm naming it RoR6, so Ruby on Rails 6, and we're going to use the database PostgreSQL. So now we run the command, and it will take quite some time to install all the needed dependencies from the very beginning. Now you see this orange message that the dependency Cifno data and something. Now we are not going to need this Cifno data in our development environment, so we're going to actually totally remove this gem. So it's taking quite some time to download everything, and when it's done, we'll go and look into our gem file. So you see, Webpacker is being installed, yarn, and after yarn, we are done. Okay, so Webpacker and yarn were installed, and now let's look into our gem file. First of all, I will clean everything that we are not going to use. So all the commented out lines. Okay. Then in our boilerplate, we're not going to use the test environment at all, and we're not going to use Cifno data. We are not using a Windows environment, but if you're using actually a Windows environment, then you can keep Cifno data gem. Okay, we removed it. We're going to move Byberg into the same development group because we're not using the test group. So we have just 13 gems left. Now we will bundle once again. And actually, we can delete the test repository. We're not going to use it in this particular example. Okay, we need to go to the directory, so cd RoR6, okay, and now we run bundle. Now bundle update. And after this, we're going to run rakedb migrate to actually create a database. Now you see we don't have a schema file, so there is no database created yet. Okay, we've updated our bundle and now run rakedb create db migrate. Okay, we've created our database. Now we run Rails server and we'll open our preview server. Let's see how it looks. Okay, we need to add this host. So now I need to do it because I'm running my development environment on AWS Cloud9. Most likely, if you're doing it locally, you will not need to add this, but I'm going to config environments development. And here I will add this line on the beginning. Now I will restart the server. And here we go. We are on Rails. Fantastic. So now I'm going to save the changes, git initialize, git add all, git. Now we're going to actually create a GitHub repository. So we go to GitHub. Let's name it RoR6, public, okay. Now we're going to commit. So git commit master, initialize, app, okay. And we're going to push to GitHub. Now we're going to add this remote URL so that we know where we want to push to GitHub. And now git remote version to check what the remote of our current GitHub is. Okay, and now git push. Now we'll need to run this command also. So next our email and password. And we've pushed to GitHub. Okay, so here we can see our application at GitHub. Next, we're going to install the Gem haml Rails. So we're not going to use the html.erb markup language. In our application, we're going to use html.haml. You see now we have html.erb, and it's going to be haml instead. So we're going to haml Rails documentation, and we're going to grab the gem, go to gem file, add the gem, run bundle, and we're going to run the command Rails haml erb to haml. So we're going to turn all the files that we have in erb now into haml files. Now we'll just wait until it bundles. Okay, we've bundled, and now we run the command Rails haml erb to haml. Okay. And now it's going to say that we can either leave the ERB files or delete them. Now, we definitely don't want to have duplicate files, so we do y, enter, and now we have all the files in haml format, as you see now. Close tab. So this is basically going to make our application cleaner. Now, we want to actually save the changes we've done. So git add all, git commit m, gem haml rails. Okay, now we're going to create a first view. So we're not going to have just an empty Rails app. We're going to have a one-pager app. So we're going to create a controller and a view inside. We're going to create a controller called, let's say, static pages, and the name of our view will be index. So Rails generate controller, static pages, index. So we've generated a static pages index, and we see that we have a new view. The folder is static pages, and the view is index. And it is also using haml. We go to the controllers, and we also have a static pages controller where we have just one index action. Now we're going to run our server. We refresh, and here we are. But we want it to lead not to the Rails landing page, but to our home index. So for this, we're going to our roots. We're going to config, inside config roots, and we're going to create a root. It's going to be root static pages index. Okay, we refresh. Let's see our server. So it is compiling. Okay, it has compiled the JavaScript, and we are using static pages index. So when we just open our empty application, we go to static pages index. Okay, looks good. Now we're going to save. So git status, git add all, git commit master, Rails generate controller, static pages index. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is add Bootstrap. So we're going to add Bootstrap to be able to style our application in many new ways. Now, for this, we're going to install the Gem Bootstrap. Let's have a look at it. So we're going to install this Bootstrap Ruby gem. We're going to take the gem out of here, Gem Bootstrap 441, add it to our gem file. And also we will need the gem Jquery Rails. Now we run bundle. So the documentation inside of the README of the Bootstrap Ruby gem isn't updated for Rails 6, unfortunately. But here I have a cheat sheet that I've created for actually installing it. So we've added this to gems to our gem file and run bundle. Next, we're going to import Bootstrap to our application as CSS. So we go to Assets, Style Sheets, Application CSS will be renamed into application.scss. Now we remove all the content from here, import Bootstrap, okay. And next we need to add the Bootstrap and the Jquery and also a plugin called Popper to our JavaScripts. Now to add JavaScripts in our Rails 6 application, we will need to use Yarn and Webpacker. So here we have this package.json with all the JavaScript packages that we have installed in our application. And we have our JavaScripts in app JavaScripts. So we have packs and channels. If we go to application.js, we see that these 4 JavaScript packages are installed by default when we just create an application. And we can also see them in this packages.json. Now we need to add some more JavaScript packages. So we're going to our console and we're going to run yarn add bootstrap, jQuery, and popper.js. Okay. So now if we go to this package.json, we see that we also have Bootstrap, jQuery, and popper.js. Okay, going next, we need to edit this environment.js. So we need to import jQuery. Let's go to config. Inside of it, we have webpack, and inside environment.js. Now we replace all the content with this. Okay. And in our application.js, this one packs application.js, we need to also import Bootstrap. Okay, now let's run our server. So Rails server. And I'll just open it in a new browser window. It will be right here. So I'm opening it. It is compiling the JavaScripts at the moment, so it can take a couple of seconds. You see, it's compiling. Okay, and here it is. And you see that the font has actually changed. So we've basically installed Bootstrap. Now we can test something. We can open our static pages index and add some kind of Bootstrap class. For example, a jumbotron. And here we have a jumbotron. Okay, so basically Bootstrap works. Now to make it look a bit better, we are just going to add one more thing to our layouts, application.html, and before yield, we are going to put everything into a container. Just like this. Okay, so we've installed Bootstrap, and we are going to save git status, git add all, git commit master, gem bootstrap. Okay, good. Now we are going to install the Gem Font Awesome SaaS. So Font Awesome is basically a library of different cool icons that we can add to our application. It will load, and in the meantime, we'll start installing. So here is the documentation of the Gem Font Awesome SaaS. The icons are still loading. Yeah, so here are some example icons that we can use. We can select the free items that are actually available for us, and we can just type any kind of icon and we will find what we want. So we're going to install this Gem Font Awesome SaaS. And once again, I'm going to use this short manual that I've created. So we take the gem, add it to our gem file, run bundle. Then we import these two libraries into our application.css right here. And we'll run Rails server. Now let's select some kind of icon and input it. For example, user. Okay, we have a lot of different user icons that we can use. Let's take user nurse, for example. So we're going to go to our static page. It will compile one scan. And here we have our index. So we will use a font awesome. Now, let's see how to use it. We'll go, for example, to this user icon, and we'll see the piece of code. Now it's still loading. But basically, for example, we know that there is an icon called user. So we take .fa user. We refresh, and here we've got a user. Still loading. Okay, here it is. So here's the class FAS, FA user. We can also use with FAS. So here it is. Now, for example, we want to add a GitHub icon. So FAB, it's just, I remember it. So font awesome brand, FA GitHub. So we've got GitHub, let's refresh. And here we have a GitHub icon. Now we can change the size. The easiest way would be to add a header, for example, like this, nested inside the header. And here these icons look much bigger. So we've added the font awesome. And for example, we can use it to make more beautiful links. For example, we can have a link to the root page. Let's make a link to root path do fa home. And here we have a link to the root path. We can add some kind of text, home, and here this is all one nice link. And now we can add some kind of Bootstrap button class. So class button large button success. And here we have a big button to go to the home page. Looks nice. We can also make it with an outline, also a Bootstrap class. And here it works. So we will save the changes, git status, git add all, git commit master, and we'll say that we've added the gem font awesome sauce. Gem font awesome sauce. Good, now let's push to GitHub. So at the moment we have just one commit, so git push. Our email, the password. Now we will refresh. And here we have already 5 commits. Okay, now we are going to install one more gem. It's called Simple Form. So it is a gem that makes creating forms inside of our Rails applications really much easier and much more comfortable. So whenever we want to have a modal, for example, a modal of posts, and we want to have a content field, a posted at field, whatever, a content field, it will be easier to use simple form than the regular Rails generators. So we'll take the gem simple form, add it to our gem file. Now I will clean up all the open files so that it looks a bit better, except of the terminal. We're not going to need those files now. Okay, so git status. We've only updated our gem file. Now we run bundle. Okay, next in the documentation, we run Rails generate simple form install. Let's see what it gives us. So it gives us an initializer, simpleform.rb, locales, and a library template for the form. So basically, let's go to scaffold, form, and see how it looks. So here is a template form, And based on this template, we'll have all our forms generated in our application. Okay. And next, we're actually going to create a modal and have our simple form used. So let's first save. Now let's see if we've installed everything. Oh, actually, yes, we're going to need a Bootstrap form viewer for our simple form. So we will also run the command Rails generate simple form Bootstrap, and it's going to be automatically compatible with Bootstrap and look nicer. Okay, that's it for now. So we run git status, git add all, git commit master, gem simple form. Okay, and now we can actually add our first modal. So let it be, for example, a post. Rails generate scaffold, post, title, and content. Content will be as text. And for title, we are not putting anything. It means it will be string by default. Okay, we've generated it. Now let's see the migration. So title and content. Okay, now we run rake db migrate, and it will be added to our schema and to our database. So we see that in the schema now we have a table posts. Okay, now we can go to our views. So here are our posts, and here we have a form. And you see that we are using simple form for post, and we have an input field for title and input field for content. Now let's run Rails server. Okay, so let's see our application. Now it's still starting. Okay, done. And let's go to the page posts. And here we can create a post. So let's create a post, for example, title. And something in the content. And we press create post. Now to make it look a bit better, we can actually add a Bootstrap class. So we can make this update post have a nice, look like a nice button. So for this, we will go to our form, and in this submit button, add a class button success. We go back, and here we have a success button. Looks nice. Okay, so let's see what we've changed. Let's check git status, and we'll save our changes. So git add all, git commit master, scaffold, posts. Okay, next we're going to add action text. So we will have rich text editing for our content field. Now for this, we're going to add the tricks editor that is built into Rails as action text. So we are going to run Rails action text install. And next, we're going to require tricks and action text in our application.js. So we're going to application.js. And actually, they were automatically added by our installer. Next, we're going to application as CSS, and we're going to import tricks. Okay. And we will also need to import action text. Just like this. Now we can go to our server, Rails server, and we're going to add action text to our post. So we're going to the modal, we're going to application, modals, post.rb, and we will add has rich text content one, and we're going to add this rich text field in our form. So we go to our form, and here we're going to have not f input, not the simple form input, but rich text area. So we add rich text area, content, and refresh. Now we need to actually run the migrations, because when we run Rails action text install, two new migrations were created. So active storage tables and action text tables. So we'll stop our server, rake db migrate, and Rails server. We refresh. Now it will compile, so it will need some seconds for it. And here it's working. So we can have rich text editing. We can make some text bold. We can add some kind of bullet points. We can add images if we like. So basically anything. Here is an image, for example. It's loaded. We run update post. And here we can see the post. Now the image isn't displayed. So for this, we'll need to install another gem called image processing. So first we will save the changes that we've done. Git status, git add all, git commit master, install action text. Now we're taking the gem file and going to add the gem image processing. How do I know this? If we go to the documentation of Rails action text, and open it, we will see. So we look for image processing. Now it must be somewhere here. Oh, actually, it's not in the action text, but active storage documentation, because we're displaying the images from where they are stored, but not from the action text editor. So we're going to search for Rails active storage. And see. So active storage basically tells us where our files are kept. Either they are kept locally in a folder called storage, for example, or they are kept on Amazon S3 or somewhere else where you like. So now we've saved one image and it must be kept in the storage. And here is the kind of representation of the image. Now we're not going to add Amazon S3 or another storage at the moment. We're just going to see how to make our images viewable. So here we have the details of how to add an avatar or something. We're not going to do that. We've already added images using action text. Okay, here is the documentation of the image processing gem, and we're going to install it now. So we go to our gem file, run gem image processing, and run bundle. Now we'll try to start our server. And view the page. And here we can see the image. So we will save the changes, git status, git add all, git commit master, gem image processing. So this gem is needed basically to display images that we have created in our application. And that's it for now. Here we've learned how to basically create the basic boilerplate of a Rails 6 application, and these are a few gems that I would be using for any application that I create using Ruby on Rails 6.